Hey, how's it going, guys? So today I'm going to be reviewing the FIFINE Tank 3 by FIFINE. So here's the box. It's pretty simple looking box that it comes in. Looking at this microphone though, when you open it though, you get the directions obviously. And like I've said in the past, the FIFINE directions are really good, very detailed. A lot of stuff on both the front as well as the back. And like I said, it's all in English. It's not one language where you get a little snippet. They give you quite a bit to go over every single scenario that could go wrong with it. The microphone looks nice. Like, it's very well packaged. It comes with just two things. A USB-C cable, USB-A to USB-C, and the microphone. The microphone has its own shock mount actually on it. So the shock mount, it swivels. So the thing right kind of off the bat, I realized with this thing is it actually feels really nice. So like this microphone right here, my SC Electronics Dynacaster, is really heavy. This thing has some weight to it. Like this is solid metal. It's not very like light at all. So compared to like the K688 microphone by FIFINE, this one feels heavy and a little more premium. There's a little bit of give to this, but not much. So what the microphone comes with, if you look on the back, it's an XLR with a USB-C one, so you can use either or. It has a headphone jack for direct monitoring. It has a mute button on the top that'll actually test out, turns green. It has a volume for both the microphone as well as the headphone on the sides here. So pretty much it. And then the microphone itself has a swivel. And you can tighten it here on the sides. So that's it. That's the microphone in a nutshell. It feels well built. It feels nice. It's, yeah, nothing too wrong with it. So let's go ahead and see how it sounds though, because that's like the most important thing that you want to know about a microphone is if it actually sounds good or not. So let's go ahead and review it. We'll plug it in. I'll be using a Focusrite 4i4 with the Mugabe cable, and I'll actually switch boom arms to use the low profile FIFINE boom arm. See how it sounds. Okay, so here is the microphone. So I have my gain like at 90%, almost 100. So we'll actually turn it all the way up. So here is it about almost at 100%. So I gotta be careful not to clip it. But you can see it sounds pretty decent. Not the best, not the worst. So I'm trying to see how to like drive it correctly. So let's get up close to see about proximity effect. So this is what the microphone sounds like when you have like a proximity effect. So I'll turn it down and you're eating the microphone. This is what probably a lot of podcasters will do. We'll see how the plosives go. So plosives are plosives. So it does okay with plosives. Good microphone technique is you actually talk a little bit to the side. A plosive is when your air comes out of your mouth phone and hits the diaphragm and then it makes a popping noise. So that would be a plosive. So good microphone technique is one, talking a little bit farther away from it and then using your gain. So let's see how the noise is with this thing. So you can hear this is my Focusrite turned all the way up. This is a very gain hungry microphone. So I have this all the way up to 100% on my thing. So I'm talking, about 6 inches away. And this is how you probably have to have it. So you're going to need, so Focusrite doesn't have the strongest ones, the 3rd gen. So the newer 4th gens have stronger preamps and are more quiet than the 3rd gen like mine is. Someday I'll spend more to get a better audio interface, but this one does me okay for right now. I like a 18i20 at some point for the 3rd gen. Still not the craziest best preamps, but whatever. So, but the microphone sounds good. It's not bad at all. In fact, its sound profile is, I guess I do hear a little bit of sibilance, which is like your S's. So it's in like the higher registry in the treble region. I can hear a little bit of sibilance, but it's not too bad. So I can tell it's probably boosted a little bit in the top end. They probably do what's called like the U shape, where they boost both the bass end a little bit as well as they boost the high end. It sounds just a tad bit artificial, but not too bad. Like, it's very passable. Most people that aren't very well trained in listening won't be able to tell the difference between how it sounds a little bit artificial. Most people think it sounds awesome. So, and then when you get a little bit up close with the proximity effect, you can still hear a little bit of that sibilance, but it controls it a little bit better. So, what is the microphone? So this is a dynamic microphone. It's not a condenser, so it doesn't require 48 volts of fan of power. It is a cardioid polar pattern. It's here in the front and here in the back. It's not as loud. It's a USB-C combo. And then the power connection does require about 5 volts. And then 100, I think, milliamps is what it has. So the bit depth and sample rate, I went over this before. The bit depth is what's recording at. Studio bit depth is 24-bit. This is 16-bit, so it's a little less quality. It records this is when you're using the USB-C, by the way. So USB-C is recording at 16-bit, 44 to 48 kilohertz. 48 isn't bad. 9600 is usually a little bit more of a standard also, but for video that's perfectly fine. Frequency range is from 50 hertz to 16 kilohertz. So this would be considered a vocal microphone. Although I do see later in the description also says frequency response also listed as 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So it's a little bit confusing online. So I'm not sure if it is 50 to 16 or if it's 20 to 20. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much because this is marketed as a podcasting microphone. So it wouldn't really matter. Or if you're going to be using some mic up a guitar, I'll do that just really quickly to kind of show you what it sounds like if you did want to do that. It'd be a little silly too, but I guess I'm silly. Other things that it has in it. So noise ratio is its signal to noise ratio. That's how much noise, self noise actually has in it. So its internal mechanism making noise, it's about 80 decibels, which isn't the best. It's not the worst. The maximum SPL. So the other thing that it has is what's called the maximum SPL level. So SPL stands for sound pressure level. So how loud can it get before it, overdrives the capsule or starts clipping? And that's 120 decibels, which is really loud. So most people wouldn't need that. Sensitivity is 50. That's how much gain you need. You need at least 50 decibels to drive this thing. And impedance is 16. Output is 10 milliwatts. And then it has another one, signal to noise ratio again, and it has a 95. So if it's 95, that's probably not the best. Well, it's already not good, so it's greater than 80. But that's kind of the full rundown of this thing. Sounds pretty okay. Like I said, it's a little bit sibilant. The low end sounds fine. It's a little more reserved than its predecessor, the K66. I'll plug that in just to show you a comparison. And then we'll get to some guitar work. But as far as the microphone sounds, it's a little bit hot in the top end. Not the worst, not the best. And the low end, though, is a lot more controlled. So low end sounds pretty pleasing to me. I don't really find it offensive at all. Just a little bit sibilant. So, but everybody's voice is different. So you might have a more low voice, not a very, higher in that more trebly region like I do. So it might not be as bad for you. So let's go ahead and compare it to the K66, one of it's probably FIFINE, I think's most popular sold microphone, and kind of see how those two really compare. And then we'll also plug it in and then see how it sounds with USB. So let's go ahead and check out the K688 microphone. All right, so it's kind of frustrated on putting that on the low profile arm because the 3-inch, quarter-inch one wasn't kind of getting on it, so it kind of made me a little mad, so I wasn't able to get it on there. Whatever. So if I'm listening to this one actually, I actually like the sound of the other one a lot better. This one makes me sound a little bit more nasally, I guess, and a little bit more, I don't like honky, I guess, sounding. So I prefer the sound of actually the Tank 3 listening to this now. But the thing, and there's a few things to say about this microphone. So I can say that it it definitely has the honkiness to it. But the thing about this one that's a little bit better, it's not, the other one's not 100% just better in general. One of the things that this one does have is it's a better plosive protection, like puh, puh, puh. It, and you can remove the capsule on this one to give it more air if you wanted to. Like now, when I have it like this, the proximity effect on this thing, when you have this thing off, is insanity. So this is actually like really good podcaster sound, but you have to talk a little bit away so you don't pop the capsule. And then turning it back on, you can even get a little more up close like that, and then you're really eating the microphone. So it just depends. So that's just a quick snapshot. Like I said, I like the other one better because it has a little bit more control in the bottom end. It's a little bit more it's a little bit more solid. It's not, this one's a little bit more muffled, little bit more muddy in the bottom end, and somewhere in the middle region, it's making me sound a little honky. So I would say that the Tank 3 I like a little bit better, the sound profile. So yeah, that was just a quick comparison between the two. So let's go ahead and plug it in with the USB-C, put it back on the low profile boom arm, and see how it sounds with a USB-C versus the Focusrite 4i4. So it might sound similar to your ears, might sound different. So make sure you grab a pair of studio monitors and let's check it out. Alrighty, so here we go. So here's the microphone. Again, this is with the USB plugged in. I have the gain on it maxed out all the way. So here it is. Down, and I'll start increasing it until now we're at full. So still not that great. It's a dynamic microphone, so it requires a lot of gain. It's not a condenser like a Blue Yeti when you're plugging into. We don't need crazy amount. So a little bit of a bummer on that. It's just the way these things are when you're making a USB dynamic microphone. You have to have a lot of gain. Let's be quiet now and hear how the like preamps sound in the actual microphone. So I can hear a little bit of feedback, not a crazy lot. It's actually better than even the Focusrite 4i4. So if you're going to be using this USB-C, sounds fine. I can tell the bit depth is suffering a little bit because I feel like I don't have as wide a dynamic range, but that's not that big a deal. Most people, again, would not tell if you're just using this. The cool thing about this microphone is it looks pretty good. It actually really resembles a Beyerdynamic one that's about 3-4 times the price of this one. And is it the same quality? Well, the other one is just a dynamic microphone. Same exact real look on it. It's their like podcast version, the Beyerdynamic one. I can't for the life of me remember what it's called off the top of my head. I'll check back on you and tell you that at the end of my overall view of this. So let's go ahead and check I have the headphone also up all the way for the direct monitoring so I can hear how it sounds. So the only other thing we got to test is the mute button. So it's green right now, showing that it's on and on. So I'm seeing it does have so it doesn't make any noises like when you shut it off like some microphones do. They'll make like a tss, tss, or some weird noise. So it doesn't do that. But this thing's handling noise, or when you're touching it, isn't very good. You can hear that. So let's see if it has any resonant frequencies. Not really, because this thing is built more solid metal. So unlike the FIFINE K688, it's more heavy built, which is actually really good because it blocks RF interference. And that's or the electromagnetic interference, because the thicker the metal is in it, the more it blocks out, so the more less interference you're going to get. I think that's why this sounds probably really good just as a USB, because it doesn't have anything kicking from my computer or my lights or my camera, any of that electromagnetic interference. So that's a very big positive when it comes to this microphone. The plosives are decent. They're not the best. You still need to use a little bit good microphone technique, or else you could end up clipping it. And the proximity effect isn't overbearing. If you decide to talk really close, it's a lot more controlled. So you can see that it's not as boosted in the bottom end as the other one. So it still gets articulation in the top end. The low end's a little more controlled. Not the best, not the worst. It's not very what you call boomy, is what some people say. So it's not offensive. They just either barely have it boosted. So with that, it sounds in the mid range is fine. So it's a decent sounding microphone. Like I'd say it's EQ'd how most people want their podcasty microphone sound. Maybe a little bit more boosted than some people like in the top end, but this sounds completely fine to me. Like my ears, I would not find this offensive if somebody's using that without using any post-processing or anything. So let's go ahead and see how it sounds on guitar, just playing a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this video up. So voila, that was the microphone. So like I said, it's a little bit sibilant in the top end, but it has a very good controlled bottom end. The proximity effect doesn't get too bad. The plosives are respectable, and it's all around a good sounding microphone. It sounds better than the K688, and it's just $10 more. So for the build quality, the price, and the thing that's kind of neat about it is the mount it's on is actually is one of those ones that you don't need the extra little threading on it. It actually, if you look deep inside there, it has both. So it kind of has all in one. It's a really good microphone. It gives you built-in stand. The shock mount's not the best, as you can see tapping on the boom arm, but all around for like $89, this is a pretty good deal. I mean, I wish that if somebody would have told me that I could get this quality microphone back in the day for less than $100, I wish this was an option. It sounds good on the guitar. That extra top end makes a little guitar that's darker sounding sound a little bit brighter. And it would sit okay in a mix, as you could tell. You just playing a little quick solo over some little bluesy rock. It's solid build. It's heavy. It does really well with interference, and it's just an all around decent microphone that I think that if somebody that's like looking for entry, not even entry level, I'd even say mid level, or even a streamer, definitely it looks great on camera. As you can see, it kind of has resemblance of like a Rode Procaster feel to it with that little thing at the top. But what it really resembles, as I was saying, is what's called the Beyerdynamic M70 Pro X broadcaster style, which retails for about $250, and this is $89. So I've never tested that one. I'm sure they probably modeled this because it's very much built like it. If you watch this video and then you look at the Pro X, you'll see that they're probably really similar, like almost exactly the same as far as it goes. The only thing difference is it actually has a built-on shock or built-on like arm shock mount type thing. It's not the best, but all around this is a decent microphone. Somebody that really is looking for in the market for an XLR slash USB microphone, this is a pretty good deal. This is probably as far as FIFINE their products go, I've tested. This has got to be their best built one so far. The build quality is solid. The sound is decent, like pretty dang decent, and it just all around is great. Like I said, a little bit sibilant, but if you really want to in post processing, since it is dynamic and not a condenser, it doesn't pick up a lot on the top end, and you need some strong microphone, some strong preamps to drive it. That's kind of the downside on this. This is meant for somebody that, a podcasty probably would be cool with it. They'd probably like it a lot. All around, I like this microphone. I'm glad I have it, and might use it in the future for some different stuff. So FIFINE went ahead and sent me this, so appreciate it. I'll leave a link to where you can get this at on Amazon. I'm not affiliated. Just trying to help you guys out. If you have any questions on it or something I didn't cover or wasn't clear, I know one person asked me, not on here, somewhere else, about this microphone, about the light. I have this actually upside down, but whatever. It swivels around. About do you need the USB to power it? No, I'm using the XLR right now. This doesn't need power, but if you want the mute button feature, you do need to have it plugged in to USB-C. But it's great. This thing feels solid. The build quality is probably what I appreciate the most about it, because it feels like it's going to last a while. And since it's dynamic, it's a little more sturdy and durable. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Great microphone, great build, decent sound. I'd suggest this to my friends and anybody looking for a less than $100 microphone. This is probably, in its price range, it probably is the champion, I would say. Like, the Shure SM57 is built probably a little bit tougher than this, but not by much. And the sound profile on the SM57, which is kind of the standard for $100 price point, what you're getting with this one compared to the Shure SM57, this is way more value for your money. You get the USB-C capacity. Its plosive protection is 10 times better than that, and it's just solid. So if you're on the fence about, if you're on a tight budget and you're looking for a decent one to buy under $100, the Tank 3 is probably your option. I would go for this rather than just automatically suggesting the Shure SM57, or even one of my favorites, the S Electronics V7. I'd probably pick this one over it because the sound profile is decent, and the build quality is great, and the shock mount and all the extra things you don't really need with it. All you need is an XLR cable if you want one. Even that you don't need, because the USB, you really only need is the boom arm, and that's about it. So yeah, like I said, have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, but hopefully this video helped. And thanks for watching.